Over the years, Sony has released many exciting lenses, and today I'll share my top 3 favorite full-frame lenses for outdoor portrait photography. First up on my list is the 85mm f1.4 G Master version 2. If I was to look at all of the portraits that I've taken in the past decade, the majority of those images were taken with an 85mm prime lens. It's one of my favorite focal lengths for tight close-up portraits, and when I use it outdoors, it does a great job of compressing the background and giving me beautiful looking bokeh. Now with this specific lens, it's probably my favorite portrait lens right now because it does all of the things that I talked about earlier while still giving me professional level sharpness. When I pair up this lens with any of the modern Sony camera bodies, especially with those that have the dedicated AI processing unit, the continuous tracking autofocus is consistent and reliable, which lets me think more creatively about my compositions and connecting with my subject, and less on the technical side of things like worrying if my shots are in focus or not. This is my go-to lens right now, but there are certain situations where I might need something a little different. Maybe there's not enough space where I'm shooting to get a certain composition, and for those situations, I'm reaching for the second lens on my list, which is the 28-70mm f2 G Master lens. If I was to look at the overall history of the outdoor portraits that I've taken, I'm sure the majority of those images were taken with some sort of a prime lens up until recently. Sony has found this magical recipe with their zoom lenses where I'm getting the type of image quality that I expect to see from a prime lens, while having the versatility of shooting a zoom lens with multiple different focal lengths. This 28-70mm f2 G Master lens covers the majority of focal lengths that I personally like for outdoor portraits. And in those specific situations where I want to get some nice bokeh and subject separation from the background, I could get it with this super versatile lens. If I could only take one lens with me for an outdoor session where I'm just freestyling and I'm seeing what I can come up with, this is the one that I'm reaching for. For the next lens on my list, this is probably the king of bokeh in the G Master lineup, and it's easily one of the lenses that I reach for when I want to blur the background, and that's the Sony 50mm f1.2 G Master lens. When I started out, I sharpened my portrait photography skills using a 50mm lens, and what makes this one stand out for me specifically is that it not only gives me epic bokeh, but it also keeps my subject razor sharp. When I used older 50mm f1.2 lenses back in the day, I would often get a 30 to 40% hit rate, meaning that for every 10 photos that I would take, only 3 to 4 would likely have the subject in sharp focus, while the rest were unusably soft. With this lens, I could put on wide area continuous autofocus, and even at f1.2, I know that my shots are going to come out great. If your experience was like mine, you definitely want to give this lens, along with the other lenses on this list, a try. With that said, what are your top 3 full-frame portrait lenses from Sony? Let's talk about it in the comments section, and be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on the latest things happening in the Alpha universe. Be sure to check out the videos that you see here on the screen, and I'll see you next time.